Okay, this is a BF Typhoon. Six-speed automatic, push button start. It's actually no different than a normal Falcon on the interior, really. No leather seats. Of course, this isn't the posh model. Pretty standard, but does have a little hairdryer underneath the bonnet. Guys, when you wind her up, she just, whoops, that was 60 pretty instant. Be careful in town these days, I think it's actually 50. The thing about the Typhoon, it's a, I wouldn't say it's an overpowerful car off the line. A V8, I've had V8s for many years, and the V8 has the instant torque straight off the line. This one doesn't. However, when the turbo boost does cut in, then you've got absolute killer torque. So much so that it still breaks out in a wheel spin with the traction control on, until the traction control realises the wheels are spinning, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm in a build-up area. So you won't see any 0 to 100s right now, or any quarter mile dragging. I'm just going to be cruising. Just basically to show that this car can be driven every day like a normal family car. Driving this car around town is no different than a standard 6-cylinder XT Falcon or 6-cylinder Comet or whatever, any 6-cylinder standard car. There is no instant oomph of power. It's very quiet, but that's the way this car is. Hence, that's why it is so fuel efficient. Just cruising around, like there's no turbo boost going on. It's just ambling along just like any 6-cylinder car. So in other words, anyone can drive this car, really. Your mother, your grandmother, but just they better be careful not to put the foot down too far, because that's when all hell breaks loose. Now, a lot of you are thinking, okay, yeah, it's only a turbo 6, you know, I've got a V8 and I reckon, yeah, my V8 will go better. Well, that's what I thought. 20 years of driving V8s, you name it, club sports, XR8s, all sorts of V8s, and that's my conclusion. The V8 will get off the line quicker, but when the boost cuts in on this, there's no comparison. And you really have to drive one for yourself. I mean, whether you've driven Ford or Holden like I have, a lot of you might be one-eyed Holden, one-eyed Ford supporters. Well, that's not me. I just drive any car. I'll get in a car, and if I like driving it, that's it, I'll buy it. And that's what sold me on this, the boost. Now the boost is good for, I know a lot of you young guys would use it for street racing and burnouts and shit like that, but I'm in my mid-40s, so I'll just take her easy. The handy thing for me is overtaking safely. Too many times on the highway you can be passing a truck, and the truck can do these days 125 kilometers an hour, and they do it. So to pass safely, drop the boot down, the boost cuts in, and she goes just nicely. And even if you need to get out of this intersection like this fairly quick, half throttle, boost cuts in, and it gets up nicely. Whoops, it spun a bit the wheel then, so just pull out the truck in the mirror. And that was only fair dinkum half throttle. I mean, you guys probably won't think, oh yeah, he's probably floored it, but I haven't. And the boost comes in nice and slowly, doesn't come in rapidly. The more you drive the boot, then you just feel this burst of acceleration. That's when this might chew a little bit more fuel than normal. So I always got to keep that in mind. Otherwise, on average, you're looking at around town 14 litres per 100, and on a good run on the highway, say on about a 300 kilometre drive, you should get around 9 litres per 100, 9.2 or thereabouts. The previous vehicle I did this was just a standard XT Falcon, standard 6-cylinder, and this uses marginally more fuel than that. Probably 2 more litres in town and 1 more litre on the highway, which is absolutely bugger all. And I'll tell you this much, the V8s I had were petrol guzzlers no matter what, whether cruising or flooring it. But I mean, normally you buy a car like this, you think, oh well, bugger the fuel economy because it's got so much power, but it's handy to have. So other than that, it is, like I said, a basic car really. The interior in this is probably not as good as a Club Sport or a GDS or probably the FPV Premium, because this is like a base model Typhoon, I guess. It doesn't have leather seats, it doesn't have electric seats. It is roomy though. It is a full-size 4-door sedan, has a big boot, so it is practical to take 5 passengers in comfort, plus heaps of luggage room in the back too. But in the end, it's just a car really. But that turbo does give you that extra power when needed. Other than that, it is just a placid, docile 6-cylinder car. Anyone can drive it. Has the usual extras like it's got dual zone climate for your left hand side and right hand side passengers, the usual cruise control. The good thing about the Ford, you've got the cruise control on the steering wheel. The Holden I had in the past, if I had to accelerate this, off the wheel and twist the knob. Now you might think, okay, it's no big deal to get your hand off the steering wheel, but when cruising on a long trip, I like to be just rested comfortably and have the cruise control on, and just by simply pushing the accelerate, decelerate buttons up here, reset the cruise, is much easier. You can still change your channels on your stereo and volume up and down. Now that feature is one feature I've been used to when driving a Ford. Now cruise control on the steering wheel, quite honestly I think Holden are the only ones that don't have it, because I've driven BMW, Mercedes, and they all have VW as well. They all have cruise on the steering wheel, and they're all upmarket luxury cars. Because a lot of them also have, Holden do have paddle shift in some models, but this 6-speed auto is awesome. You can just flick it across, up a gear, down a gear, but there's no really need for it. I just leave it in drive. It always finds the perfect gear every time. This 6-speed automatic changes gears in an instant. Never ever will I drive a manual again. Manuals are okay if you're street racing, circuit racing, whatever, but the automatic is just so much smoother. Instant gear changes. It's not like the automatics of the past. Automatics used to be a really sludgy operation, but nowadays it's instant gear changes and no clutching involved.